How significant were the property tax changes that were passed by the Texas legislature and will be voted on by Texas voters coming up in November? That is a good question. We have not got a really dollars and cents idea of how significant these changes were made. That's why we have our guest on for KSAT Q&A. Gary Rivas is the president of SWBC Ad Valorem Tax Advisors. Gary, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Would you term what the state did as significant?
Absolutely. It is going to provide significant and noticeable tax relief when we get our tax bills in October.
And that's what following what's happened in multiple special sessions at the state level, it's been complicated for people. So at the end of the day, as Steve mentioned, dollars and cents are what people are wondering about. So do you have a ballpark figure of what the average San Antonio homeowner could expect to save?
Yes. And it is very much a complex system that they've arrived at. But nevertheless, when it all boils down to, is I believe the average homeowner will probably realize a tax savings of about $1,200 to $1,300 a year, again, annually on their property tax statement.
That's significant. Now, is that just from the state, or that's when you add the state, the county, some of the things that the city's done?
That's pretty much just from the state.
Okay.
The state, it's a moving target, meaning you have different price points, different valuations of homes and properties. So it'll vary according to the price point. But for the average taxpayer, the average homeowner, to your point, the savings should be between $1,200 and $1,300.
That's significant.
And then, like you say, Steve, the other exemptions and the other incentives that the city, county, and so forth are offering as well is going to add to that savings.
Okay.
Is there one part of what the state passed that is most significant? And just off the top of my head, I would think, not being the tax expert you are, that it would be the homestead exemption.
I would tend to agree with you. I think the average home owner is the one who needs the most relief. And that $100,000 homestead exemption, which will apply strictly to the school district tax rate, which is the largest share of a person's tax bill, is going to provide the most significant and noticeable tax savings across the board. And again, depending on the price point, it should be about $1,300 a year.
And that's something that Texas voters have to sign off on come November. Historically, they have.
Right.
Will likely pass again, right? So increasing the homestead exemption from $40,000 to $100,000. If we're going to vote on that come November, when would we start to see that savings reflected?
That's a great question, because we get our tax bills in October. So the Bexar County Tax Assessor Collector, Albert Uresti, has said that he is going to send out provisional property tax statements in October with the preparation that tax bills will already take into account these measures that have been passed by the House and the Senate, yet to be approved by the governor. But they're going to act as if these bills are going to be passed by the voters in November.
Is there one big mistake that people make when it comes to their property taxes?
You know, the biggest mistake that I see is people not taking advantage of the homestead exemption or any other exemptions for which they might qualify. And that's a big deal. It's very simple to rectify. A simple call to the appraisal district or a professional like myself can help navigate what it would take to get that corrected.
Yeah.
So there are homestead exemptions. That's for anyone who owns a home and it's their primary residence.
Exactly.
Correct?
Right.
But then there are also exemptions in place for people over 65, veterans. What else exists out there?
Your disability exemption, which is very similar to the over 65 exemption, the disabled veterans, disability we talked about. There's just a myriad of different types of exemptions that people might qualify for, but they just need to talk to the appraisal district to find out what options are available.
Is it your blanket advice for somebody that no matter what their property tax bill is, that they should protest?
Absolutely. Filing a protest every year constitutes a reappraisal, whereas the appraisal district is required to reappraise only once every 3 years. So if you appraise every year for those homestead properties, you are automatically limiting the amount of increase that the appraisal district can take on the taxable portion to 10% over any given year. So if you protest every year, you are limiting that increase to a maximum of 10%. Whereas if you wait 2 years and they say that they didn't appraise your neighborhood, then you could realize a 20% increase or more when they get around to it.
When it comes to protesting your appraisal value or even applying for these exemptions, somebody might think, okay, that sounds like a lot of red tape, a lot of paperwork. What's the reality of what somebody needs to have in order to make those things happen?
It's really not a complicated process, especially to file your homestead and over 65. There are tutorials offered by the Bear Appraisal District online that will navigate you through the process. It's very easy. It's as simple as downloading a form, filling in your ownership, your mailing information, providing a copy of your driver's license, and that's pretty much about it. Or you can actually go to the appraisal district office, or the tax office, I believe, will do it as well, and file it there.
All right, Gary, before we let you go, how significant is what the Texas legislature passed for businesses in the state of Texas, especially small businesses? It seemed like they were trying to target.
Right. Part of the package is they tried to take care of the property taxpayers, but they set out a little different provision to provide an additional exemption of $2.47 million in gross receipts for small businesses. So it is a franchise tax exemption that many people call them the nuisance tax. But that's going to affect over 60,000 small businesses across Texas. So that's pretty significant. Many of these businesses who have been paying taxes will cease to pay any more of those franchise taxes.
Yeah. I bet a lot of people describe a lot of taxes as nuisance taxes.
Yes.
Gary Rivas with SWBC, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You have answered a lot of questions in dollars and cents. We appreciate that. Thank you, Gary.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.